Okay, so we're going to look at the discriminant today, and the discriminant is associated with quadratic functions. So let me dive straight into it, but before I do, I should say that if you haven't watched the video on solving quadratic equations using the quadratic formula, I would do that now before I watch this video, because it will shed some light on this particular concept here, the discriminant. So let's get into it. So the discriminant is actually for any quadratic function at all you can think of. So any general quadratic, ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Then the discriminant is b squared minus 4 times a times c. Okay. So for example, if I had, say, a quadratic where I had x squared minus 3x plus 2 equals 0, then in this case, a would be 1, because this is 1x squared, b would be minus 3, and c would be 2. So my discriminant would be minus 3 squared minus 4 times 1 times 2. And I usually put both of those in brackets just to separate them out. So minus 3 squared is positive 9, and 4 times 1 times 2 is 8, and that's take away 8. So the discriminant in this case is 1. So for this quadratic function, the discriminant is 1. And we're going to look at what that actually means. Okay, so let's go on to GeoGebra and let's figure out what that means. So I've got my curve x squared minus 3x plus 2, and you see here my discriminant is 1. Okay, notice that the curve crosses the x-axis at 2 different points here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change these sliders around, and I'm going to change this function. And what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to look at this number here and how it changes when the curve moves up and down. So I'm just going to change some of the values. So you see the discriminant, it's getting bigger there, and then it's getting closer to 0 just there, and then negative, still negative, 0, positive, negative, positive, negative, positive. So what the discriminant actually does for you is if it's positive, if it's bigger than 0, then it tells you that there are 2 different roots, 2 different solutions to the equation. Remember, when a curve crosses, where the curve crosses the x-axis is a solution to the equation. And if I could just press the solutions button here, then you can see that I have 2 different solutions. So when the discriminant is positive, we have 2 different solutions. Okay, 2 distinct solutions, that's usually called. When it doesn't cross the x-axis, of course, we have no solutions. Okay, and when it just touches the x-axis in one place, which I can't quite get at the moment, so I apologize. But when it touches in one place, we just have what's called one repeated solution, one repeated root. Okay, because it's not actually just one root, but it's been repeated twice. So in this case, it would be about minus 1.5, but twice over. Okay, so let's go back onto Paint and let's just kind of tidy all that up and make it all right. So I'm going to get rid of this, delete that. Cut. Okay, so when let me just change the color of my pen. When the curve crosses the x-axis at 2 points, then the discriminant b squared minus 4ac is greater than 0. And that means that we have 2 distinct roots, 2 different solutions. Sorry, distinct roots. When the curve just touches the x-axis in one place, then b squared minus 4ac is equal to 0. And then we have one repeated root. And when the curve doesn't cross the x-axis, b squared minus 4ac is less than 0, it's negative, and we have no roots. Okay, so that's an introduction to discriminant, and I'm going to do one more video on it for you. So please stay tuned for the next video. Thanks a lot. Bye.